want to work? You read the file? Because you don't know success until you know failure. I don't always have an army, but I am always on a mission. This idea of being balanced is not greatness. Greatness is imbalance. Because you can't stop. That's the irony. A lot of people think you do it and it's like cool, like now the blessings come. Like I can stop, I can chill. No, nigga. Once you learn it, that's what you do. Yeah, you can kill yourself if you want to. We never cared about you killing yourself. We just wanted the cut. But like it kind of chose me. It saved me in a way. Like I'm indebted to it. Like that's how I feel about footwear. Like you know what I mean? Because then I can show you the world through sneakers. I can introduce you to different cultures through this product. They made the shit up. They made the rules. They can make the rules, they can break the rules, they can change the rules.
They was chopping niggas' heads off in the public square before the sun went down.
And that was justice.
You know what I'm talking about?
You mean like, you know what I'm saying?
Son.
It's counterintuitive how you dodge punches. Like when you slip, you lean towards a punch. Like if the punch is coming at you this way, you're leaning this way. Like, but the human mind does not want to go towards something coming at it. But that is how you evade it.
Right.
Are we recording?
Oh, we recording.
Okay. I'm gonna say because I feel like we've been talking a lot of brick by brick shit. You know what I mean? Like, but you never asked me the official question.
It all ties together.
That's what I'm saying.
That's right.
Yeah, brick by brick, man. Yeah, we gotta build. We now realize the importance of building our own systems.
Mm-hmm. Like, so yeah, I mean that goes into the first question for sure. So right now in this season, what are you building brick by brick?
Man, in this season, like we mean in the sense of spring, or
season of life,
or like my season, my personal
your season of life, and introduce yourself as well.
Okay, yes. So my name is Malcom Jassiem Randall, MJ. My friends call me some of them. I know about many names, but Wolf of Wall Sneak is one of them. You might see me online. I'm very much ingratiated in the footwear industry. You know, many of my tribe is in that industry. Like I learned about that industry at a young age, and I've made it my business, very literally, as you can see, to be a part of, right, and ultimately improve. I see the system of the footwear industry as a very unique product system, end to end, that, you know, certain principles of that system can be applied to, you know, improve productivity at scale. I know there's a lot of words, but those who know what I'm saying will understand what I'm saying. Like how shoes are made can be applied to how other things are made in layman's terms.
100%.
You know, or good aspects of it, because how shoes are made, a big part of that process is also archaic, which I will seek to improve. At Project Wall Sneak, we look at things from a industrial standpoint, and the product life cycle, right? So like think of, you know, the management of a product, and I was in the process of saying like our lens is ideation to aftermarket. Like, so from a design standpoint, you have to intake a bunch of inspiration, especially when you're designing new product, not just regurgitating old product. Nike, Jordan, I'm looking at you, okay? And selling cheap, you know, takedowns, material takedowns. Hey, I know I have friends there, but you guys know. You guys know, all right? You know, we talk about, you know, building new product. There's all type of things that go into the early stages of that, let alone when you start to cross bridges, right? You get it.
If I watched you on a random Tuesday, what would I actually see you doing? Not the glamorous version, the receipts.
On a random Tuesday. Man, so my weeks are, I don't live a normal life. So my Tuesday, I don't think is a normal Tuesday, at least at least existence-wise. Output-wise, I'm doing a lot of the same shit the average person is doing, right? I'm fortunate enough to still be able to, you know, make some chicken while I, you know, sit in the comfort of my own home. I'm able to work from home. So it's like on a random Tuesday, 9 times out of 10, that's what I'm doing. You know, I'm also a proud father, you know what I'm saying? So, but I don't have my daughter all the time, so it depends on what Tuesday we talking about. Because one Tuesday I might have to be on daddy duty, another Tuesday I might not have to be. Shout out to the power and the beauty of co-parenting, right? Shout out to my baby mother, yeah, she good, you know, I don't got no problems, you know, I'm blessed. But it's also I'm present, nigga. I ain't blessed because I'm not present, nigga. I'm blessed because I'm present, nigga. Right? You gotta earn that blessing. That's it. You know, so yeah, like I'm big on that. Like my you know, I'm when I say I'm a proud father, like I mean that. And I'm you know, fatherhood chose me. You know what I mean? It's not something I was pursuing, but I think, you know, that's a whole nother conversation entirely because I don't know my biological father. But I do have a really good, like, actual father, like on some like Russell Wilson like level nigga ass shit. Like for real. Like my dad is like amazing. Like I lucked up, like blessed. Like that I have nothing to do with that. God just gave me a great man as an example and a teacher. So it's like a lot of what I do as a father, obviously, you know, learned it from my pops. But yeah, like random Tuesday, you know, like, you know, I'm a hardworking dude. Even though I work from home, you know what I'm saying? Especially because I'm in the technical space. I like to make sure I give good direction and shit like that, even with, you know, the employment of tools like AI, etc. But like I also like when I say I'll speed it up to like when I say I don't live a normal life, I fast 4 days out of the week. I do not eat cooked food for 4 days, Monday through Thursday, and I break my fast on Friday.
What do you do like during those 4 days? Is it like a?
So I actually make my own juices. I make my own cold pressed juices. Mm-hmm. All right, and I've been doing this for about 2 years, consistently, Monday through Thursday, semi-consistently, especially when like holidays roll around, shit like that. You know, this started when I was on my fitness journey.
Right.
Like I changed my lifestyle. Mm-hmm. So like my Tuesday at one point was completely different. You know what I mean? But yeah, like so on Sunday, I will make my juice, or at some point during the weekend, you know, typically on Sunday, but sometimes a day like today, Saturday, right? My juice, meal prep, right? Those are my meals.
Yeah.
And then I go to the gym. You know, most of the time I box. You know, and that's my athletic outlet, right? And exercise, great cardio. You know, but also like, you know, you gotta. I tell people all the time, like you ain't boxing. You can't box if you can't run. So I'm also a runner. Like I'm an avid runner. I run around my neighborhood. You know what I'm saying? Like even if I go out of town, like a lot of times I run. Like, you know, I'll join a run club or two. I did no 5Ks, but I'm thinking about doing like amateur boxing.
Word.
Yeah. I'm thinking about.
I've been seeing you train, bro.
Yeah. I've been thinking about doing amateur boxing. Just, you know, the same way people like train for marathons. Cause I already trained. Like, so that's my point. Like my Tuesday is like I kind of like have begun to kind of live my life like a fighter. You know what I mean? Like at any point, nigga, if I'm not, you know, doing that, you know, then yeah, like my work in terms of again to answer your question on Tuesday, like yeah, I have a day job, but like I'm also like heavy in the footwear industry, and I go, and as well as my community, right? So I'm a Ward 7, you know, resident, right, in DC, and so like yeah, I go to like, you know, Ward 7, you know, meetings sometimes, right? Town halls or whatever. Like I said, they're building a stadium over here, and like, you know, I've been part of making sure we get a community benefits agreement and things of that nature. But also like I go to like the Commission on Fashion, Arts and Events here in the city. They've actually reached out to me, recently launched, you know, Black Footwear Forums, DMV chapter, you know what I'm saying? So I'm very community oriented, and, you know, community leader, if you will, in that space, and making sure. I think, you know, for leadership for me is being present, showing up, and doing the work. You know what I'm saying? Like that's really what it comes down to. And then, you know, being able to show others the way. You know what I mean? Like that's you being able to. That's leading. You know what I mean? Like it's not telling the motherfucker what to do. It's showing the motherfucker what to do. And you understand that.
Type
you know what I'm saying? Like. What, they gonna teach you that in school? The schools that they build? No. No, they said you gotta go get this job. And you have to do that and work for this corporation. And then you have to put your money and direct deposit it in this bank. Because yeah, this bank feeds us and then we those are our partners, right? That you're going to work for. Anyway, next question.
A little bit, yeah. What's a moment in the last 1 to 2 years where you seriously thought about quitting? Walk me into that day. What happened?
Last 1 to 2 years where I seriously considered quitting. You know, this footwear thing, you know, is interesting because I don't know if there are ever any days where I'm like, you know, I'm not going to say that I know what I'm doing because, you know, well, no, that's probably valid. I don't think there are any days where I 100% know what I'm doing because what I'm building, it doesn't, at least from what I've seen, it doesn't exist. So it's like, it gets dark. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like, all it is faith at that point. Faith, belief. You know, the two is a very thin line between the two, right? And so yeah, like I guess, you know, walking that path in the last 1 to 2 years specifically, because I've been doing this longer, was like, yeah, like it's as you seek counsel, right, and advisement and mentorship, particularly in my industry, from people who have taken more traditional routes as it relates to an industry like footwear, because the industry is relatively still very young, right? To be $1 billion industry, it's still fairly young. You know, Nike, if you think about it, came up in the 70s, and they are the giants, at least in America, the metric, the standard, at least when it comes to athletic footwear, which I would call sneakers, right? Like, there are obviously other footwear, right? Boots, your moccasins, your slippers, everything, nigga, your wallabies, nigga, everything. It's all different type of footwear, but sneakers is the one that holds the most energy in the $1 billion footwear industry, right? It's the one that has the culture attached to it the most, because you do have like a boot culture, even mules, nigga. You got pages dedicated, like I think there's one on IG called Mule Boys, and it's just like just mules, bro. Like, but like you think about it, the Birkenstocks, you know what I mean? Like Birkenstocks have a huge and they've been around for a longer than Nike.
Type shit.
Birkenstock been around longer than Nike. You know what I mean? And they're another publicly traded company. Didn't used to be, because that was a family business, the Birkenstock family, right? And yeah, so yeah, like they kind of getting advisement from, traditional, or people who have taken more traditional paths. A lot of them will kind of, or have told me to consider niching down. You know what I mean? This kind of the conversation we just having about but my mind wants to web. You know what I mean? Like I'm a system builder. I just build webs. Like I know how to make webs. It's hard for me to, compress it into something linear, But in reality, as a professional, and that's the kind of, not pivot, but the mindset, the approach that you have to a lot of times consider when success, whatever that means to you, is of consideration, accomplishment, right? You want to get somewhere fast, or you want to get somewhere the right way, or whatever. You have to prioritize. You got to narrow in some. You got to focus, right? Like in whatever, you know what I mean? So it's of something of consideration from a business standpoint, the concept of niching down, of like, becoming an expert in something that, ultimately, again, from a business standpoint, if you're an expert in something, product, or I was going to say service, obviously, but even product, right? That's who a lot of times, most of the time, you're paying for. You're paying for expertise of whoever, right? Like person, brand. And so yeah, like it was tough to kind of, amass all this knowledge, wisdom, connections or whatever, and, still be like, I'm in an industry where it's like, it still behooves me to like get a job. So it's like, it's not quitting, I guess, to answer your question. Like, it's not quitting, but I'm like, in order to do, or accomplish the ultimate goal, I still have to, contribute to the industry very directly. I think in a existing web, right? A web that already exists, that has, reputation. We talk about a brand, a business, right? So a lot of my mentors have worked at the Nikes, the Jordans, the Sauconys, the Adidases. Like they've put in work. You know what I'm saying? In that regard, in that system, right? Because then the system, that you're validated, that validates you almost in my industry, and you could argue in a lot of industries, because they're like, well, how the system works, and at the end of the day, from a capitalist standpoint, it still comes down to revenue, profit, ultimately. But if you know how to convert, in multiple existing systems, something from ideation to ultimately, to market and then aftermarket, and you have, in this case, you know how to move units. Yeah, that's a very translatable expertise kind of in any industry. And so, yeah, like, it's like, damn, like, I may have to go, in some regard, but it's like, I'm still there. I've never wanted to quit, because it's like, this shit really feeds my inner child. Like, the whole, like, sneaker shit is like, I feel like that's me nurturing my inner child. So it's like, I've never wanted to quit, but I've had, many days, plenty days, where it's like, am I walking in the right direction? The irony when it comes to the sneakers. Am I walking in the right direction? And I think a lot of entrepreneurs struggle with that,
Where do you feel that in your body in those moments? Like, when you're like, because I think one of the questions I was going to ask is, what are some of the thoughts you have on loop? And I think you've already answered that. With a lot of things that we asked, am I going the right direction? Admitting to ourselves that we don't fully know what we're doing, especially when we're carving a new lane. And then, because, yeah, I definitely feel those ways too, where like, it's definitely certain days where I feel heavier more than anything I can do. Where do you feel it in, like, your body?
Like, literally, physically?
Yeah, like chest, gut, shoulders.
That's a good question. And the irony is, I used to have bad, and I say used to because, like, very recent, I used to have very, like, bad back problems. Like, sciatica back problems. Like, so, like nerve. You know what I mean? But particularly, like, in, like, my hip. And I think it was probably a woman, told me of trauma, I think, or a certain type of trauma is stored in the hip. And I think it was, did she say feminine energy? Like feminine energy trauma or something like that is stored in the hip. But yeah. It was like, but for me, I know where it stemmed from an injury, like years ago.
Right.
But like had been dealing with it ever since. But it's like, then it like morphed into like, yeah, it's related to my stress level. And like, it became like, it took on a life of its own. This whole thing that like, I didn't even feel it right away at the gym. Like, I was like, this shit kind of came out of nowhere. Like, but, I know there's, there is probably some energetic and perhaps even spiritual correlation between a certain level of stress and like back problems. You carrying weight, you know what I mean? And so, yeah, I feel like, I kind of resonate with that because I've had back problems. And the irony is I haven't felt it in my back. Like my back was where the problem was. And I recently had a whole like treatment. I went through like physical therapy for it and everything. And they were like decompressing. I went on like a machine where they like pull you apart and
The
shit.
evil
Like,
torture device.
yeah, basically. You know what I'm saying? A technological version of it. You know what I mean? You did literally stretching me. Pause. You know what I mean? Right. Oh, hey y'all. You know what I mean?
Man.
But yeah, like I had to do it because it was bad, bro. It was bad. So like, yeah, I feel like I was carrying a lot of weight. And then I feel like, you know, if I'm talking to creatives, like a lot of us do, we talk about our ideas, right? And having to suppress a lot of it to just kind of navigate through this motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? Just to do our jobs or to be, you know, whoever to whoever, right? Whether that's a dad to your kid or mom, or, you know, a confidant, you know, from a not so capitalistic or whatever standpoint. But it's like we just got all these things and we suppress our ideas because we like, nah, this shit, this is more important in some regard. But is it though? You know what I mean? Like when you really think about it, to your question of your health, because as creatives, you have, like, outlets are so paramount. You have to get it out.
So yeah, I mean, that goes right definitely into the next question. What has this path for you done for your mental, good and bad? Like things like loneliness, anxiety, numbness, burnout, imposter syndrome, dealing with that in the past versus now, relationship strains, relationship growths.
We still talking we talking last 1 to 2 years, or the path in its entirety?
I would say the path in of itself,
In and
because
of itself?
again, we know the ebbs and flows have
Yeah.
been there the whole time, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I think now we're going into like, okay, what is your perspective on this season of where you're at?
Yeah, okay.
Like a little bit of context too, what I've noticed within this whole cycle of brick by brick is, one, like I don't think people grow even in they look at the wave wrong, right? Because if you look at it's going over time, but if you like take the time away, it's a circle.
Yeah.
It's just a cycle, right? With the ebb and flow. So if people who recognize and stay in the same cycle, or they're growing but they're still kind of going like this. So I'm starting to see where people at within that cycle. Are they is the insecurity taking over more? Is it in the process of healing and starting to understand things? And then now are they dealing with the anger of like finding out a lot of things were bullshit and how to reapply? Are they on the other side of that re-investigation, redefinition, and now they're building from there and having that level of like almost calmness and satisfaction within what they're doing, because now they're in that and then on the other side of that cycle, right?
So it's very interesting to see, like, yeah, what do you feel that has done for you in like good and bad ways? I think there's things that I do well, but I don't think it's the healthiest for my mental, but I don't really want to fuck with it because it works.
Okay, so with all that context in mind, reframe the question for me, because I feel like I lost the original question.
Sure. What has this path actually done to your mental, good and bad?
Okay, got you. Good. I'll start there. We'll do the fruits and veggies first, and then we'll get to the desserts. Good is like, you know, it gave me a sense of purpose, you know, and I think, you know, how I'm wired, I think that was incredibly important to find, you know. For my mental specifically, like I'm very mission oriented. I need a mission. I think in terms, I've never served, but like I think like a soldier. You see, I live my life. I need a mission. You know what I mean? I don't always have an army, but I am always on a mission in some regard. You know, and so I think, you know, but there are levels to it. You know what I mean? Like you got missions have different priorities. You know what I mean? And so you have the bigger mission when that's your purpose, right? That's the ultimate mission. But even within your ultimate mission, you got, you know, milestones, if you will, right? You have you know, if I think about it like tangibly, right? Like, you know, going on this path, you know, because I started Wall Sneak in 2021. in terms of like, well, in terms of, before then, I guess 2020, but like, that's when I established the LLC or whatever, right? That's when I was like, oh yeah, like we were, boy, like I'm stamping it, nigga. I'm putting the money up, I'm investing, right? Like, I'm in, right? But even before that, obviously it was a lot of thought went into that prior to, right? So yeah, like if I look back at it, that was a time of huge transition, right? That was around the time where, I was, about to, me and my kid's mom broke up. You know what I'm saying? And so I needed a mission. You know what I'm saying? Like I needed something to wrap my mind around. Not necessarily to distract me, but it really came to like, because I was trying to, if you think about it, man, like back then, before that, like I was still in exploration, right? Like I was thinking that we was managing Sweezo. I was doing something completely different. You know what I mean? Like the footwear, like I had already been to Penso, like I already went to footwear design school twice, right? I had already, so it's like, that's what I'm saying, like that shit started back then. I went to footwear design school in 2013, and then like that planted the seed of like, oh, like I'm looking at this wrong. I'm only looking at this as a consumer. Let me consider this whole system. But I didn't see how I fit in there because I knew even back then, they're going to give me a job. They're going to say, you're a designer. Or really, I was already being, in 2013, I was being scouted by Nike as a PLM, what's called a product line manager. That's someone who does basically what I'm talking about doing, but it's like where it stops is like, it's still only one brand. And my inspirations were the Ronnie Figs, fast forward, the Joe Fresh Goods, the Salehi Bemburys, ultimately who in footwear now really are responsible for bringing a lot of things to market when it comes to new designs. They partner with these creatives when they want to introduce new product. Why? Because they're tastemakers, right? And they don't have brand loyalty. You know what I mean? Like they have contracts, right? So like, well, as you know, but it depends on the contract. Like as you're working with this one brand, you may not be able to work with, they might have an exclusive contract, right? But you can have a non-exclusive contract where you're doing, one season you drop some shit with New Balance, another season you drop some shit with, Nike or Vans or whatever, you know what I mean? Like, but when you're at a brand, you're at that brand. And for a while, it was like, it really was, certainly when I learned about it back in, the early days, it was like, there really was, at the corporate level, at the headquarter level, brand loyalty. Like, there was like, they referred to each other as like them niggas over there. You know what I'm saying? Like Adidas and Nike was like, man, oh, you going, and God forbid you switch sides. You know what I'm saying? Because it really operate like the league, right?
Like
the way, yeah, like the way the league trades players. That's how the footwear industry operates. One day you might be on this team, nigga, but another opposite, you know what I'm saying? They might want you over here. You know what I mean? They're like, yo, make the call. We need, because, it's a small world. They all know you over there. Then they see what you working on, you know what I'm saying? Oh, yeah, that shit was tight, man. I see, you know what I'm saying? I seen you put up 40 the other night, cuz, you might need to come fuck with us. You might need that. You know what I'm saying? This shit I seen you, nigga, you got what, 15 rebounds, nigga? But nigga, we need a big man. You know what I'm saying? Like, we need your position. You know what I mean? Come over here. It move like that. But at the same time, there's like a lot, it's the same thing. It's the competitive nature. You're making product for competitors. You're making product for competitors because it's sports. So that same energy, that same competitiveness comes to at a corporate level. And, you already know, corporate's already cutthroat. So it's like, it's that. It's corporate cutthroat and it's athletic competitiveness. It's like, yeah, nigga, like, we want to win. Like, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, like that was, so just wrapping my mind around it was the good thing. It gave me a mission. and I was very like balls to the wall. I'm all in, right? And that's what allowed me to like make the feats that I did, because yeah, like my boxing coach once upon a time was like, yeah, like, average people are gonna tell you about, it's funny because I was just having this conversation. Like he would say, don't let everybody, don't let everybody, not anybody, but everybody, like, kind of like encourage you to be balanced. He was like, this idea of being balanced is not greatness. Greatness is imbalance. It's like you need to lean heavy in that direction. Like that's how you get great. Like there's no half stepping to greatness. You got to put both feet in. Like you can't half step the shit. You know what I mean? So he's like that and by that point I had already jumped off the porch. But I just found it ironic that like full circle he's telling me, it's like, yeah, like I really, and I'm, when I got coached boxing, like it was like almost like we was a team. I was on a boxing team. I'm in there with a lot of kids, so he's really talking to them. Like they're the primary audience for real. By that point, I'm like, oh, I know what this is, and I'm like, yeah, y'all hear that shit? Like, you know what I mean? I did it. Nigga. Like he's right, But it's true. Like you gotta go all in. So I feel like I did that, and I'm still doing that because you can't stop. That's the irony. A lot of people think you do it and it's like cool. Like now the blessings come. Like I can stop, I can chill. No, nigga, once you learn it, that's what you do. Like that, you have to keep applying. You have to keep your foot on the gas, And we talk about cycles. I definitely notice that can be in my cycle. I can go, and then like let my foot off the gas. Like the struggle, right? Or a struggle, with it, has been, like, because I mean I already talked about kind of like fishing in the dark, right? Or like navigating in the dark. But you're talking about a very specific example, right? Or like
not necessarily, more so just what comes to mind in that regard.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Look, like in the for me, because this nurtures my inner child, you know what I'm saying? It's so tied to that. And then for me, I didn't even go into like how I even arrived at footwear in the first place. Like I got kicked out of school, was facing like prison time and stuff like that. Like, and I think because I got kicked out of school, like, and my pops introduced me to my mentor, who is Dwayne Edwards, and he started the school that I went to. But it was an early introduction from my pops because I was, I got kicked out of school. He didn't know what I was gonna do. Shit, I didn't know what I was gonna do. But he knew I was into sneakers, like as a just as a hobby. He was like, yo, I just met this dude who like has his own fucking school that is like he teaches kids how to design sneakers and go into the business. Like, would you want to check it out? You want me to introduce you to him? At least he was like, I was like, yeah, like. Right. So from that conversation is how I got into footwear. You know what I'm saying? But it was really like I didn't know what I was gonna do. You know what I mean? And I had all these gifts and talents. And I was just like, I don't know where to apply that. You know what I mean? Like if I'm looking at it from a, societal standpoint or a workforce standpoint, like I don't know what industry to go in necessarily. Sure. If it wasn't like, I didn't want to go into like media for real. Cause everybody was telling me like, yeah, you got the, God, I can picture you on radio. People been telling me that since puberty cause I had a deep voice. So it was like, I can so picture you on radio, but I'm not going to be a radio host. Like, I'm not going to go do that. I don't, because that's not a job that I want. You know what I mean? Et cetera, et cetera. So, like, yeah, like, it was only recently where that really clicked. Like, my connection to footwear, like, yeah, I've always been into it as a hobby, as a consumer. But like it kind of chose me. It saved me in a way. Like I'm indebted to it. Like that's how I feel about footwear. Like it's a very intimate relationship in that regard. Like that's why I threw myself into it so much too. Like it was almost like redemption. You know what I mean? Like I feel like I owed it. You know, like I said, I learned this shit. I went to 2 classes, 2013, 2015. Never went into the industry, even though I was being scouted for it. I could have went and got a job. Like I could have went and been a designer, like or a PLM. I could have went on the marketing side immediately because that's what I went to college for. You know what I mean? That's what I was down. You know, so that's what I was down there for. Marketing,
Right.
right? And I did that because like I was like I could apply marketing in anything, any business. Every business needs marketing, right? And so I was like, well, I always if I need to get a job, I always have a job, right? Because every business needs marketing. But I wasn't thinking about what industry to apply it to. So I was like, oh, like I could apply it to this industry. I already really like kicks. You know what I mean? Like just I'm already a geek about it. So like why not? Like it makes sense. But then, you know, all that didn't really you know, like and so I guess that's the full breadth of my connection to it. You know what I'm saying? And so, you know, I think about that sometimes when I, you know, in terms of my journey, right? Like it started so long ago, over 10 years, in terms of from my introduction to kind of where I am now. Because like, yeah, I've lived many lives in between. Like I tried other things, but I went back to that thing that was like saved me. You know what I'm saying? It was just like something's not clicking. You know what I mean? And it was close because I was feeling the music shit. Like I liked being management with Sweezo's man. As fucking crazy as music management is, like I actually enjoyed it. I was also his hype man. You know what I'm saying? So I was on stage with him as well. But I'm a party animal. You know what I'm saying? Like I liked the music business, but I also being in it on that side and you know reviewing contracts with lawyers and you know, like going over budgets and, you know, being on the business side of certain things can kind of suck your joy out of it. You know, I tried being an artist too. I made music with Montez before I was, you know, me and Montez was managing Sweezo. Me and Montez was making music. You know what I mean? I tried being an artist. You know what I mean? As an outlet because yeah, I knew I was a creative, but like, you know, again, like I tried the different things, but I feel like I'm honoring like there's honor in it. So it's like I've never had a negative view of it. I feel like it chose me for a reason and like I need to live up to that honor. You know what I mean? So yeah, the Wolf of Wall Sneak was born in that regard where it's like, yeah, like I'm here to kind of take over, but like in a good way. Like I see the voids in this shit because I've had my ears, I've had my eyes on it for a long time, and I've had my ears to the ground for a long time. I know this shit in and out. You know what I mean? I've been paying attention. And as I've been paying attention, I've also been contributing. You know what I mean? I never really asked for I put money up in it and never really have asked for a dime. Like even in these partnerships that I have, like money has never been the goal for me. It's always been again the mission because I see it from an infrastructure standpoint. Like I'm gonna get paid once like for building the infrastructure. That's a bigger bag anyway. Like I'm talking about like and especially because my day job is in like government contracting and things like that. Like these are the type of things I'm trying to do. Like I'm not trying to sell people more shoes. No, like you see how many shoes we got plenty of shoes. I can show you. For me, I much rather than build my own shoe, I'd rather show you dope shoes that already exist. A lot of times at a discount. Like I know where to get shit for the low. You know what I mean? Like and it's cool shit. I'm not showing you the shit that Complex is showing you. You should see my wall. Complex probably don't have none of these shits. You know what I mean? These are brands from all over the world. You know what I mean? Like I would much rather do that. That makes more sense to me. You know what I mean? Because then I can show you the world through sneakers. I can introduce you to different cultures through this product. It's a storytelling mechanism. Sure, I can, and I'm gonna do it like part of Wolf of Wall Sneak because that's the resale side of it, right? I am going to resell some of my collection that I've amassed over these years, especially these very direct years that I've invested. I have a spreadsheet of my acquisitions, of my product acquisitions, right? Their retail value. I know the companies that they've come from. Like, I've researched the companies. I know where the companies come. It's like, yeah, like I've been doing this shit and doing my homework. So it's like, yeah, I can provide real value from a system standpoint of like, yeah, like I know where the shit can be improved, and I know how to just build on it in a way that just better serves, this sneaker community, right? That also has, I think, a bigger purpose. I think it can show the world, a way of operations that, that is end to end beneficial. Again, ideation to aftermarket. It's end to end beneficial. Oh wow, that was at 5. That's crazy. I believe in numbers too. I'm also a 5%. I didn't say that. Shout out to 5% Nation.
If I gave you a scoreboard that wasn't money or followers, what would you actually track to know you're winning?
Ooh, that's some good questions, Ross. As a panel moderator, I appreciate this. If it wasn't recognition or fame or money, is that what you said?
If it wasn't money or followers, so yeah.
Okay, got it. Money or notoriety, okay.
Correct.
What's my measure of success, you said?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
My success barometer. Impact. Shout out to High Impact Partners, which is my day job. That's the organization that I work for. Impact. That is my barometer. And I think a lot of our generation, that is our barometer. Like we would rather make a difference, right? We're the idealistic generation. You know what I'm saying? That like really believe we can change the world, right? Like it's like, and we really move in that, like the things that we do. That's what we try to do. We try to improve because we are the babies of the babies of the digital age. You know what I'm saying? Like we watched the transition from analog to, not even watch, we participated in the transition between analog and digital.
We were drunk to that shit.
You feel me? The old world to the new world. That is our childhood. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, day to day, like, oh, this is new. Oh, this is new. Oh, this is new. Oh, this is new.
Year after year after year.
And then tragedy.
Nigga.
New Game Boy. Here's an iPhone.
Nigga.
Like, wait, what?
Nigga, we grew up on dial-up.
Yeah, son. Whole computer.
Like as little kids, but by the time we were in high school, Wi-Fi exists.
Analog internet, bruh. From analog to wireless, son.
In a span of, right? We were the first kind of guinea pigs of that hyper evolution of technology.
We went from we couldn't have my mama be on the phone to get on the internet, from our phones communicate when we're trying to connect to the Wi-Fi, we'll automatically send the code to each other. That's crazy.
Wild when you really think about it. But we don't think about it. We lived through it.
We lived through it. And that's only in a span of like 20 years.
Bro.
That's not that long.
Wild.
That's nuts.
Which is why when people are like, oh my God, this shit is moving this way. Like, nigga.
Is it?
It just to your other question, I think it's just Tuesday. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is a normal day for us.
Right.
Because we lived with, like, that shit was just like, yo, when you really look back at it, but we're so conditioned, it's just like, this is the norm.
And I feel like most people don't even understand what they even have in their pocket right now.
No, this is a fucking computer.
Yeah.
In your pocket. A computer, a fucking, geolocate, like, a lot of things that used to be separate devices are in this one thing now.
Just crazy.
That be in your pocket.
Right.
By your balls, which is a whole other conversation. We gotta do better about that. Because it emits.
Hey, that's another reason why we got the bags, dog.
You feel me? This shit emits radiation because it's so fucking powerful. It's a lot in here. Like, so yeah, like, sorry, what was your question? Oh, the success barometer. Impact. Yeah, and we a lot of us, because of that, it's been like, we've watched, we've just watched the evolution and sometimes de-evolution. I was gonna say devolution, de-evolution, the regression of it, because that's where we are now. We look at like this compared to like a civil rights era. Yeah, I mean, we weren't alive during then, and according to accounts that we know of, both external and like family members, and it's like it's fucking bad. It's fucking bad. But goddamn, like if you look a certain way, you know what I mean? Still, to this day, with Deontay White, to this day, you feel me? It's fucking bad. You know what I mean? It just looks different. You know what I mean? Like, again, just had this conversation today. Like, they told us like slavery was over, but like they just like repackaged it and like rebranded it and like remixed it and sold it to you, right? Well, got you to buy in first, then sold it to you. And then now, like, everyone was mad at the nigga when he said it, including me, but it wasn't what he said. It was where he said it and how he said it. But what he said was absolutely valid. Slavery is and has been for a long time a choice. But the choice is the rebrand. It's the buy-in. It's your consent. Sinners, what was all the vampires saying? Let us in. Because consent is the most powerful tool. Once you allow something in your cipher, in your energy, in your plane of existence, you invite whatever comes with it. They was like, nigga, if we could just get people to do that, we don't gotta be out here chasing niggas with it. Like, we don't gotta do none of it. They don't wanna work. You read the files? These people don't want to work. They want you to do the work. We're the working class. They want us, they're the ruling. This is how they see themselves. They want us to do the work. So like, yeah, let them do the slavery shit. But I think we were again to the point, we're the generation, I think, to see all that context of even pre-60s if you was really into it. But 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, right? And millennial starts in the 80s generation. By the 80s, pretty much all the work that was done in the decades prior was gone. They obliterated it. Shit was gone. You know what I mean? And insert the crack era, look at the Grits and Eggs podcast, nigga. Talk to Deontay Kyle about that. I don't even need to go into all that. If you want facts on that, do your own research or do the math on it. The nigga like to say, do the science, right? We say that in the 5% Nation. Right? Do science, nigga. But nigga, and then technology, like we was like, whoa, like. Not only is something not right, like we're in this weird dystopian like loop. You said it. Like it already, like the universal law, like you said in your video, the difference between like law and rules, right? You talk about society and like the way the sun shines, like, you know what I'm saying? Like this is the real shit. This is synthetic, right? Somebody made this shit up. Somebody made this shit up. They made the rules. They can make the rules, they can break the rules, they can change the rules.
They were chopping niggas' heads off in the public square before the sun went down.
That was justice.
You know what I'm talking about?
You know what I mean? Alcohol was illegal, nigga, until they could make money from it, nigga. Now it's cool, nigga. You can slap a label on it. Consent. Yeah, you can kill yourself if you want to. We never cared about you killing yourself. We just wanted the cut. You know what I mean? Like, now it's legal, right? But now you have ATF, alcohol, tobacco, firearms, which already existed because of the moonshiners, because they was making money. It was like, whoa, we need a whole agency to go get these niggas to figure out what they're doing and how to get our cut.
Correct.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
But all this context, we was like, yo, so all that to say, I think a lot of us, like, that's our success barometer. We need, something's got to change, bro. And I think from a loop standpoint, I think we have that same energy that, like, the boomer, boomers, the boomers had. Yeah, where it was like, you know, but in a different way, where it's just like we grew up with the tools, right? Like, but the tools were kind of like part of the matrix. So it's like the age of that's it. Hackers. We're the hacker generation. That's it. We're the hacker generation. We know how to hack.
Correct.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because the new system was being built. The shit that now is rearing its ugly head. The technocracy. That's the plan. That's the new version of democracy.
Yeah.
That they're trying to build. The technocracy. We grew up in the early stages of development. So we know how the shit operates to this day.
Yeah. All right.
Success barometer.
Mm-hmm. It's time to wrap this thing up.
Yeah, because I'm
There's someone watching this who's in the same I might quit season you described. I want you to look at them for a second. What would you say to them that you wish someone had told you?
Someone that is in my position how long ago? Or is now?
Oh, someone who's watching this who's in that same I might quit.
Oh, I might
feeling.
quit. Okay,
Yeah.
Okay, but when you said that, I was like, yeah, you said like, if I might quit like 1-2 years ago. I remember the question. They might quit. Don't. It's a marathon. You know what I mean? It's literally not a sprint. It ain't gonna happen overnight. Don't quit. The only difference between, you know, success and failure is the only difference between success and failure is how many times you failed. Because you don't know success until you know failure. You don't even know what it looks like. You don't know what it smells like. You don't know until you know failure. Because failure is a lesson. It's not it's a, you know, people think the L is a loss. No, it's a lesson in that regard. You know, if you're talking about, you know, competition, niggas win or lose. But in this regard, you know, we talk about the grand scheme of life and your path. You know, you don't, there is no, I mean, bad shit happens in life and you could lose, you know, people, loved ones. You could fall out of love with something or whatever the case may be. So I don't want to discount that. There are losses. But in terms of your success path, you know, yeah, you have to be in balance. So you can't even look at a loss as a loss, even if it is. You can't afford it. You have to be imbalanced. So it's like if you're in that season of like, oh, I might give up. Nah, lean in. You know what I mean? And in fact, in boxing, you know, I learned very directly. It's counterintuitive how you dodge punches. Like when you slip, you lean towards a punch. Like if the punch is coming at you this way, you're leaning this way. Like, but the human mind does not want to go towards something coming at it. Mm-hmm. But that is how you evade it.
Right.
You have to lean in. The only way, you know what I'm saying, the only way to it is through it type of thing. You know what I mean? So yeah, that I would say that to that person, like, you know, lean into that punch. That's the only way you're gonna evade it to then do your counters. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And keep punching. Don't quit. Don't keep moving. You know what I'm saying? Don't pout. Don't sulk. Don't give up. You gotta keep going. You know what I mean? But that for me, for that a lot of shit clicked when I looked at it that way from a boxing standpoint, because it is counterintuitive. The mind wants to avoid danger, but you have to train your mind that the way to avoid danger is to go to it. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
All right. And And then finish this sentence. You're not behind. You're
not behind. You're building up. Like that's what comes to mind. You know, especially because I think of myself. Not even how I think of myself, like how I approach branding. You know, and infrastructure. I look at things from an architectural standpoint. You know, and the very real kind of translation of building something, right? Like from a foundational level on up. And so like, yeah, like that shit takes time. You know what I mean? You gotta kind of give yourself grace. That's why I say that. Like it's about grace. Like you're not behind, you're building up, and that takes time. You know what I mean? Like if you wanna build something that lasts. And that's why like I'm big on the infrastructure aspect. I want to build things that last. The test of time. You know what I mean? The the you know, the proof of concept, whatever, or in terms of use, right? Like I want, you know, I'm the type I'd much rather make a classic album than a hit. Much rather would do that. You know, hits are great. Hits can make you bread. You know what I mean? But they're here today and gone tomorrow. You ain't going in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame with too many hits. Or no, actually not true. Not going in the. You're not getting a Pulitzer Prize. Right? You think about a Kendrick Lamar, or you're not winning, or you know, a Nobel. You know what I mean? Like you're not. I know these are arbitrary kind of recognition, but the idea is that like yeah, like Illmatic is in the Library of Congress, nigga. You know what I'm saying? Like that. You know what I mean? Like that. Yeah. Like that's, and it set a standard when you talk about hip hop.
mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Just for comparison. Like, so I know that's, you know, grandiose dreams, and we have that as visionaries. We have big dreams. So, and actually a friend of mine, a very good friend of mine, shout out to Mark Delbot down there in Miami. He's a multimedia, multidisciplinary artist, really good artist, and one of the people that when I do start pitching, you know, collabs for certain brands or you know, creatives or artists that brands should be collaborating, he's one of them. Anyway, he told me this when I was along that path, because he's somebody in my circle I would kind of let, you know, I would bounce ideas off of when I'm like, yeah, I'm thinking about doing this. Because, you know, you can't, as a creative tool, anybody who's, you know, trying to do an endeavor, you can't share your ideas with everybody. You know what I mean? You do have to have a trusted circle that you express, you know, that shit too, that you can bounce your ideas off, and they can give you honest feedback. People that you trust to give you honest but also constructive criticism, like no fluff, like no yes men, like niggas and based off the shit that they do too, like, because that's a lot. Like you can't take advice from people that ain't doing the shit, you know what I'm saying? So it's like it got to be a lot of those things, and he's one of them. He doing the shit. So he told me, he was like, bro, don't beat yourself up about having big dreams. He was like, what you do, and where I realized the shit was my inner child. He was like, what you're doing is you're trying to like adult your inner child. He was like, stop doing that. Like, stop beating yourself up about having big dreams. You want to do the big, like, dude, there's nothing wrong with that. You know, like, don't try to dim it or diminish it or dumb it down because you feel like it's too big. Like, it's like, nah, just take it and make it practical. You know what I'm saying? Systematize it, whatever, but don't dumb it down because it's like you feel like it's too much, so to speak, or that it's trivial or whatever. Like if it's in alignment with your inner child, like nurture it. Mm-hmm. Don't beat yourself up about it. Like don't talk down to it or whatever. Or bad parent, the idea of it. That's the concept I got. Like don't be a bad parent to your inner child, basically. I was like, fuck. Like, right, nigga. Like nobody told me that, nigga. Like, you put it like that. Yeah. Let me stop doing that. So yeah, like, and that means giving myself grace. You know what I'm saying? We all got to do that a little bit better.
Indeed.
Yeah, for sure.
Hey, well, appreciate your time.
Hey,
bro.
Man, look, I know it took a little longer than
experience
expected, but you know, I just think the last time I seen you was.
That's some good golden now.
Yeah. You know, man. Now we got something out of it.
You know what I mean?
You know what I mean? Yes, sir. And I'm glad you're doing this, man. I think this will help a lot of people, you know, to have these type of conversations and intimate conversations like that, because obviously we in the comfort of my own home,
right?
You know, in my office and shit, basically. So yeah, man, this is good. I think you know, You building something special, man, brick by brick.
Appreciate you, bro. Yeah. Let's see where it goes, bro.
Yes, sir.
Until the next one.
Till next time, man. Yes, sir. Still.